Hell holds a formidable place in modern narratives in society. It is portrayed as a place of eternal suffering and punishment for those who have committed sins. Yet what if this was all a lie perpetuated for social control? What if even the most vile murderers escape hell? Let's find out in this video. Most of our modern religious scriptures depict hell as a place of anguish and torment, ruled by Satan, that exists for those who have strayed from righteousness. In the Bible, several passages contribute to the imagery of eternal suffering in hell. For example, Revelation 21:8 speaks of a lake of fire and sulfur for those who have committed sins. In Mark 9:48, hell is described as a place where their worm does not die, and the fire is not quenched. This suggests a perpetual state of suffering for those who are wicked. In the Quran, Jahannam is described as a place of intense heat and fire. It has multiple levels with punishments tailored to fit the nature and severity of one's sins. Surah Al-Humazah chapter 4:7 states, "Hellfire will be closed down upon them in extended columns, where they will be dragged with chains. The inhabitants of Jahannam will cry out for relief, but their pleas will go unanswered." However, the concept of hell is not universally accepted across all religious and spiritual traditions. Spiritual teachings offer a completely different perspective on hell. More people are awakening to the fact that the concept of hell is one that is meant to be interpreted symbolically rather than as a real place of eternal punishment. Indeed, core teachings by ascended masters such as Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, or Buddha do not explicitly describe hell as a physical place of eternal damnation. Rather, these spiritual teachers placed great emphasis on the consequences of one's actions and the law of cause and effect, also known as karma. Jesus, known for his messages of love, compassion, and forgiveness, did not speak of hell as a real place. Rather, he spoke of the kingdom of heaven and the importance of inner transformation and spiritual growth. His teaching centered on unconditional love and the divine spark within each of us. Similarly, Prophet Muhammad's teachings focus on accountability and the concept of divine justice, where descriptions of hell serve as symbolic reminders of the consequences of negative actions. Buddha's teachings, based on the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, highlight the impermanence of existence and the nature of suffering. Buddhism describes various realms of existence, including realms of suffering, that are not permanent locations but rather states of consciousness resulting from one's karma or actions. The idea of hell as a physical place of eternal damnation is not inherent in the original teachings of spiritual teachers. Instead, it emerged as a later belief advanced by power-hungry groups within religious communities seeking to control and manipulate people through fear. By drawing on the concept of hell as divine retribution, the Church gains the power of excommunication, whereby disobedient people could be cast out of the community and condemned to hell. This threat of exclusion and damnation kept people in line and prevented resistance against the Church's power. By instrumentalizing the concept of hell, the Church also accumulated wealth through practices like selling indulgences, which were certificates that offered forgiveness for sins and reduced time in hell. If you are ever confused by the contradiction between the notion of an all-merciful God in Abrahamic religions and the hopelessness of eternal damnation, the answer can be found in the introduction of false doctrines that distorted the teachings of original masters. By fostering a fear of hell and eternal punishment, power-seeking entities could enforce specific behaviors, maintaining their authority and control over the followers. If what we have been taught about hell is false, then what is the actual truth of hell? Hell, in its true essence, is not an external place of punishment, but rather an internal state of being that arises from our choices and actions. It is the consequence of denying our divine nature and disconnecting from the source of divine joy. When we act from a place of fear, ignorance, or negativity, we create an experience of inner torment and unfulfillment, akin to what some may describe as hell. In this spiritual context, hell is not about a vengeful higher power imposing punishment upon us. Instead, it is the natural outcome of any thought or action that denies our true essence, our connection to the divine, and our inherent divinity. It is the pain we suffer when we separate ourselves from the truth of who we really are. Thus, hell is an experience of the soul feeling incomplete and separated from God's greatest joy. Finally, how do we leave hell? It is essential to recognize that as we ourselves create this experience, we also have the power to transcend this state and return to a place of divine joy and fulfillment. Contrary to the idea of eternal torment, the experience of hell is not an everlasting one. It is in fact a temporary state serving as a wake-up call. To transcend the state of hell, we must awaken to the truth of our divine essence and align ourselves with higher principles. This entails nurturing love, compassion, forgiveness, and self-awareness. It necessitates acknowledging the oneness of all living beings. Karma, also known as the law of cause and effect, also offers us a pathway out of hell. By ensuring that we act and think only in love to others, we break free from the illusory notion of separation and align with the oneness of our authentic divine selves. Beyond that, through spiritual practices such as meditation, self-reflection, and acts of kindness, we can transform the suffering of hell. I hope you have enjoyed learning about the spiritual truth behind the concept of hell. I am so grateful for your company over the past few minutes. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share this important information with your loved ones. See you soon for the next Spirituality Miniseries.